Hey people, it's me again with a new chapter of Ace Age's mission. Its creator is Naruto. Fallout link of his page in the description without more filling. Disclaimer: I don't own Naruto or High School DxD. And remember to subscribe to the channel and leave your like, that would help me a lot. Chapter 2. Revelations and our mission. A ticking clock. Naruto has heard the same noise for the past 3 days. Every day he sits and waits, with the only sound being the damn clock. Any day now would be nice. Saying it isn't going to make a difference. Whatever. It's been 3 days since the devil's attack, and this girl, Rathalia, still hasn't woken up. Honestly, Naruto couldn't blame her for the state she was in. She's lucky to be alive. Naruto spent nearly the rest of the day watching over her when the medics got to work on her in the Urikonoha hospital. Even though she hasn't made a peep since then, she's looking much better. Her bones are no longer visible through her skin. Tsunade was called over to help, quickly being brought up to speed about the situation. Got to hand it to her, even with the whole devil's attack, she kept her focus and maintained a professional attitude to make sure this girl would survive. As for the devils, it's a mixed bag. The ones they needed to capture escaped. Naruto blamed himself for that blunder, letting the dragon get the drop on him. He still doesn't know how it got past his sage mode sensing. Most of the devils were killed, big by our hands of their own. For some reason, most of them just dropped dead an hour after Naruto got back to the village. An autopsy showed that all the ones that dropped dead had a ruptured heart. It's believed that some kind of time-delayed technique was in place, in case of capture, similar to what the Anbu or the Foundation would do. When it started happening, Tsunade had the idea to hook as many as they could to a specific machine at the hospital. Naruto did not know the full details, but it basically did what the heart does, pumps blood. But the problem is that the devils can't be unplugged from the machine or they will die. They can't wake up either because this machine induces sleep. So now we have a handful of devils that will be asleep forever. Naruto tried using 6 packs power on a devil to restore the organ. The devil died. Whatever is causing the heart to rupture is still in place. Fix the heart and it will get destroyed again. They could undo it or seal it if they understood how it works, but this isn't Kekra and they don't know where to start. 6 packs power gave Naruto a complete understanding of Kekra, not whatever they have. The autopsies are still proceeding, and since this is not Kekra, standard categorization and general breakdown won't work. The doctors and scientists are still at the drawing board. But we did learn some things about their bodies. It may not be Kekra, but whatever energy they have has resulted in them having stronger, faster and more durable bodies, just like what happens to us after being trained in using Kekro. Which means Sesk might be right if they didn't know about Kekra but knew about humans. Then they come from a place where humans could very well be at their mercy. Are humans just some form of cattle to them? The devils have not made the best first impression. The interrogation force has been working around the clock on the surviving devils, using the psycho mind transmission jutsu to get any information from them as they could, but they have only been able to get bits and pieces with no context. Turns out not having a heart can mess up your brain. Who knew? The words they got were unusual ones. Lucifer, Bell, Fallen Angel, Japan, the list just keeps going. We don't even know if these are names for people or places. This leaves us with one last hope for answers. A bedridden raccoon girl, whom Naruto thinks should not even be here. Even if she was an enemy, to be treated like that. What did she even do? What do the devils get out of it? It unnerved Naruto. Could it be that all devils are like this? For now, it's another day, waiting for her to wake up, to get answers and hopeful, a girl who can recover both physically and mentally. Naruto was asleep on his chair, right next to the bed of Rathalia. He's been asleep for nearly half an hour. Slam. Huh, what a WAA. The door to the room slammed shut, abruptly waking Naruto up. How long have you been here, Naruto? Not long, Granny Tsunade. Tsunade panicked. Naruto, you look more tired than she did. Gesturing at the sleeping raccoon girl. Naruto ignored her jab. He was too busy rubbing his eyes to get the sleep out. Do you know how long till she wakes up? It's been 3 days, and is getting to Naruto. What happens if she won't wake up? To be asleep for the rest of your life sounded like a living nightmare. Those surviving devils are going through it right now, and even after what they tried to do, he still wouldn't wish it on them. No amount of healing will wake someone up from a coma. Tsunade wishes she could help her, but they have done all they could. Time is what she needs now. It didn't help Naruto. She's right in front of him, and he can't do a thing to help her. He felt a hand on his shoulder. Naruto, go get some fresh air. I promise when she wakes up, you will be the first to know. He didn't want to leave, but maybe she was right. A walk might help his nerves. Fine, I'll go, but I'm leaving a shadow claw, no shadow clone. But Naruto, she isn't going anywhere. Naruto just let out a long breath. He knows when he's beaten. If you need anything, let me know, Brownie. I will. Tsunade smiled at him. His annoying nickname has grown on her. Shortly after leaving the hospital, Naruto decided to make a stop at Ichiruk Ramen for 1, maybe 3 bowls. Hey, say what you will, but ramen, it soothes the soul. The only problem is Naruto is still on his first one. You okay, Naruto? An old friend of Naruto asked. He's never opened his eyes before, not once. Why do people keep asking me that? Seriously, it feels like that's all people can ask him nowadays. Letting out a beaming smile. No, it's cool, I'm just taking my time. Yet no, day's still young. Buy it, come on, buy it. Wow, that bad, huh? Oh, come on. It seems Naruto won't be able to get out of this one ever. Old man, have you ever felt useless before? What? Naruto shot up both his hands to correct him. Not you or anything like that. But, well, say you wanted to help someone, but right now there was nothing for you to do. What would you do about it? Naruto wasn't really expecting a straight answer. Honestly, he didn't know how to answer that. I guess I would be happy. Huh? Naruto looked up, shocked at what the old man just said. Happy? How could you be happy? Did he even understand his question? The old man could only smile with his answer. Well, to put it simply, it means that your job's done right. What? If someone's hurting, then you need to help them, but if no one's hurting, then you don't, because it means they are safe or happy, so why worry about it? Naruto just stared at him in shock. Where did this come from? Isn't this what you hope for, the day where everyone is happy, and no one needs help anymore? After his speech, Ramen guy turned back around to the stove. Wow. That made sense. I'm going to have to leave an even larger tip now. Maybe this is why Tsunade wanted him to get fresh air. She knew he would find an answer from someone. Right now she's safe, and that's what matters. Getting worked up about it won't help anyone. She doesn't need help now, so don't think about it. But when she wakes up, then think about it, then help her. Good things were short-lived as Naruto looked down to see a problem. Oh, it is cold now. Shouldn't have picked that as food. Time skip 10 minutes. You know it's been a crazy week, don't y'all think? Naruto's sweat dropped at that remark. I've noticed. I had a front row seat. The old man is more right than he knows, but everything is confidential. He can't just tell anyone. It must have been that earthquake a few days ago. He then laughed. Had to replace my front window. Sorry, Naruto whispered. What'd you say? Nothing. Someone please show up. Naruto. Yes. Hey Sasuke, why are you here? Sasuke walked into the ramen stand and sat next to Naruto. He orders a small bowl. Ramen wasn't really his thing. Now with the ramen guy turned around, Sasuke can get to business. The interrogation force learned something new. This got Naruto's full attention as he was drinking the rest of his bowl. Apparently the devil's power is called demonic power. And that's it. Naruto could only face plant on the counter. Luckily he didn't break it. Oh come on. How does that help? Sasuke just had a neutral expression. Because now that we know what it's called, anything else we learn that has something to do with demonic power also means that it has something to do with devils and not anyone else. Okay, that's a good point for future references. So, anything else? Naruto, we need to talk. About what? Look, if this is about Raphaelia, sorry but the old man beat you to it, so can you? It's about Hinata. That shut Naruto up, not expecting Sasuke to say that. What about Hinata? He knew what Sasuke was getting at, but he hoped he was wrong. You need to talk to her about it. Damn it. The room was filled with silence. Even ramen guy stopped his work as he noticed the tense atmosphere. I'm not doing it. No one said you should. No one says I should never. Moping about on a cliffside won't change anything. That law is utter bullshit. It's not forced, and it was put in place to save clans. Yeah right, whose genius idea was it? The first and second Hokage that just made it worse for Naruto. Two people he respected for becoming Hokage agreed with this law. For the past 2 weeks, Naruto has been trying to come to terms with it. The Clan Restoration Act. During the Warring States period, many clans were wiped out and even more were left with few members. To help the clans recover, Hashirama agreed with his younger brother Tobira's proposition of allowing and encouraging near-extinct clan heads to have more than one partner. Sadly, since Naruto is the last surviving member of the main branch of the Uzumaki clan, it falls to him. On the one hand, Naruto could understand the idea. His clan was pretty much wiped out during the Second Shinobi War. Fast forward today and the only last living members left were him and Karin, no idea where she disappeared off to. On the other hand, marriage should only happen if the two are in love. Naruto had to explain this to Shizuka when she was forced to make good on a stupid several-year-old promise. Anyone who thinks that they should get any girl they want because of near extinction should get their ass handed to them in front of a live audience. That would be pretty fun to watch actually. After Naruto and Hinata become an item on their relationship became public knowledge, Kakashi made some time to have a conversation with them both. Naruto could not believe what he was hearing. Luckily, both Kakashi and Hinata calmed him down before he did something stupid. If anyone tried to order him to marry a girl or a girl to marry him, well, they're going to get 1,000 years of death jutsu coming right at them and the guy next to them. But ever since that day Naruto has been in a flunk. What's he supposed to do? He loves Hinata, is that not good enough? Hell, they have been together for only 1 month. What's this talk about, kids? What do you want from me, Sasuke? An answer. The silence lasted for what felt like a lifetime. Naruto didn't want to talk, and Sasuke would just wait him out. You want to know why I feel like this? Naruto has had enough. People keep asking him and asking him, fine if they want to know so badly. When I learned that Hinata loved me, I felt truly happy, just like when I finally got to see my dad or hear my mom say she loves me. Those moments. Naruto could never forget them. To learn how they felt about him, even when they have only seen each other for less than a day. It gave him new strength, new feelings he never knew he had in him. Those new strengths and feelings have saved him from himself and others. But when I thought back on it, I realized something. And it made Naruto feel terrible. I never noticed her feelings the whole time. For years she had these feelings for me, back when even Iruka hadn't yet accepted me, but she did. Sasuke didn't say anything. Naruto has had this bottled up for a while, and he needs to let it out. She never thought of me as a monster, not once. She always believed in me. Hinata never thought I was a failure. She has always loved me, yet I never noticed. For years he didn't notice. I forgot her confession when she tried to save me from pain. She nearly died. When I think back on all of it, I feel like the biggest asshole ever. He meant it. I love Hinata so much, but a part of me feels like I don't deserve someone as amazing as her, someone who can put up with and love an idiot like me. He finally said it. People have been asking him about it over and over again, and he finally said it. So what happens now? Sometimes, I feel the same way about Sakura. What did you just say? This time it was Sasuke's turn to speak. I pushed her away. I betrayed the Hidden Leaf. I tried to kill her twice. He remembers all the things he did, all of his regrets. Yet she still loves me. Sasuke turned around to face Naruto, and while Sasuke kept his poker face, Naruto just stared in utter shock. Do you think I deserve someone like her? Naruto couldn't utter a single word. No, he felt like he could not breathe. He couldn't answer that question. He wanted to say yes, he deserved to feel love again after everything and everyone he's lost. He tried to say yes, but his lips won't move. Yes was not the answer Sasuke was looking for. Not from Naruto. It's not up to us to decide how someone else feels or decide who they should love. It's up to them and them alone. Hinata loves you, and you love Hinata. Sasuke looked right into his friend's eyes. He said something that Naruto will never forget. Do you believe that the past will ever change the fact that you love her and she loves you? Naruto could only shake his head, very slowly with wide open eyes. He's right, even when Naruto felt like he let Hinata down for not seeing her for what she means to him, and what he means to her. The answer was always the same. They loved each other. Nothing would change that. While Naruto was absorbed in everything that he said, Sasuke got up. He never touched his meal. With his back turned and about to leave the shop, he had one last thing to say. I won't tell you what to do when it comes to the law, but if you have any faith in your feelings and Hinata's feelings, then talk to her. Just like I have resolved myself to talk to Sakura when my journey is complete. Sasuke also fell into this law as a last Uchiha, but he won't run from it. Just like that, Sasuke left Naruto alone. Naruto kept his head down. He didn't want people to see him right now. To see him cry. As tears fell from his cheeks onto his bandaged hand, which had its fist clenched on the counter. He could not stop himself from shaking. Thanks, Sasuke. Naruto was not ready to talk to her yet. But now he will, and whatever she decides he will follow, as long as she is by his side. He will be happy. You got one hell of a friend in Naruto. Ramen guy overheard the whole thing. The best. Naruto hasn't yet realized that Sasuke left him his bill. Yo. Big brother Naruto. Only one person calls him that. What's up Konohamaru? The grandson of Lord Third Hiruzen Sarutobi, one of Naruto's best friends and a student, both of them aspiring to become Hokage. And how did they become friends? Because Naruto punched him when Konohamaru called him out. He never did care about class or one's bloodline. Since then, they have been like brothers. Konohamaru adopted many of Naruto's personality traits such as never giving up and never running from a fight. A few others too, like being loud, headstrong and reckless. But he was also a rare talent, learning a lot of high-level ninjutsu despite his age and rank, such as the multi-shadowed clone jutsu and the Rasengan. Even the Adama Rasengan. Naruto really wants to teach him the Rasenshrippen, but that nasty side effect when you strike someone with it like you would a Rasengan just makes it too dangerous. He would not be at a level where he could throw it should he learn it right now. But there is one way around it, but he's not quite there yet, but he's close, so maybe one day soon he could learn that ability. Tsunade wants you to come by the hospital right away, not sure why really. Konohamaru was scratching his head. Naruto looked fine, so what's this about? Really? She needs me, but I'm thin. Oh, what is it? Naruto slowly stood up from his stool. She's awake. Naruto quickly turned around and slammed his hand on the counter, getting Ramen guy's attention. Old man, I'll take 3 cups of ramen to go. It's been a few minutes since she woke up, slowly sitting up from her hospital bed, stretching out her stiff muscles and joints. How long has she been asleep? Rathalita looked out the window to see the sun shining through. She could hear birds and bugs chirping. But what was most important to her was the sky. It was a beautiful sky blue. I'm not back in the underworld. Whispering it to herself, the underworld sky is always a dark purple. Then where is she? Oh right, those 2 devils were beaten, and she was rescued or captured. She looks at herself to see that she's in better condition and feeling much healthier than before. Even her hair was trimmed a bit. She remembers a blonde human with blue eyes, and strangely enough, whiskers on each cheek. She is in a new world. Maybe that's how humans are here. So what did they plan to do with me? There were no guards, and she hasn't been restrained in any way. A good sign. Or a ruse. She heard a knock on the door. Someone wants to come in. I'm awake. A timid response. She's too nervous. The door slid open slowly. She recognized this guy. It's the one I met back in the forest, he holding 3 cups. He walked over to her and kept a sweet smile, trying to ease our tension. He's here to help, not harm her. Good to see that you're finally awake. He placed the 3 cups on a small table next to her bed and pulled up a chair. He gave Assault quite the worry. Sorry. She's caught off guard by his attitude. Weren't they attacked recently? He waved his hand a bit. It's fine, no need to apologize. Besides, it's a relief to see you looking much better. Rathalita could only nod her head at his dismissive attitude. But she still had one question for him. Why did you help me? Naruto just blinked at that question. What do you mean? I was with them. I mean, I wasn't, but I was over on their side, so I helped me. Why not just kill me? No one has helped her since that devil took her. Why would today be any different? Why did he risk himself for her? He didn't even know her. When do I need a reason to help? How people have always had reasons to help or to do anything in general to get something in return. She had a depressing voice when she said that. He probably only saved her so he could get answers, nothing more. They called you a Yeti. So, that means you were different from them, right? And where was he going with this? Then, that means I understand. What are you talking about? What is he talking about? How could he understand? Being reduced to something so low by those devils. I'm different too. Rathalita stops her line of thinking to hear him out. Like me and a handful of others, we knew what it was like to be hated for being different. Naruto had a sad yet sympathetic expression. Looking back on his life and the lives of others. He is a Jinchuriki, one of the last 2 in the world. There used to be 9 total. In the past, they weren't seen as humans, but time bombs for their tailed beasts or the tailed beasts themselves. Naruto was hated for almost all his life for being different. Treated like scum, and for the longest time, he didn't even know why. Rathalia, I know what it is like to be hated for being different, for stuff that we had no control over. You were Yeki, and they treated you like scum because of it. I am a Jinchuriki and was treated like scum because of it. Naruto and people like him were hunted down and killed or used as weapons and a deterrent to war by the villages. Rathalia didn't know what a Jinchuriki was, and as much as she wanted to call him out, that he didn't understand what it was like to suffer so much. Just because she was a Yeki. She could not stop herself from listening. For the longest time I was alone, in a deep, dark and lonely place, and if I stayed down there, I would have become the very thing people had been calling me for the longest time. A monster. Rathalia widened her eyes at him. The only real monster she knew was Rizvim. She only knew Naruto for a couple of minutes, but a monster was not something she would call him. Then Naruto smiled at her, one filled with pure joy. But then I was saved. I met people who pulled me out for that place, who saved me being a slave to the word monster. Iruka, Kakashi, Jiraiya, Sasuke, Sakura, Hinata, Shikamaru, Killer Bee. Naruto could keep going. You asked me what my reason was to help you, well then here's mine. Naruto stood up from his chair, never breaking eye contact with her. She was hanging on to what his answer would be. I wouldn't wish that fate on anyone, even people I hate. If I was saved from such a fate, then you can bet that I'm gonna damn well save you from it too. Then Naruto bent down to her eye level. So please, trust me, trust us, we want to help you, we'll help you. But, yes, we have questions, many of them. I won't hide that fact, and I won't hide the fact that we need your help too. But even if you didn't have the answers we need, we would still help you, and at the end of the day, that's what truly mattered. You needed help, so we helped this guy. He's serious. Rathalia knows the face of a liar. She's seen it many times. But his face, it's not the one of a liar. Could she trust him? She still didn't know. Naruto got up from his chair. He was satisfied with his talk with Rathalia, even if she still didn't believe everything he said. She's thinking on it, and that was an excellent first step. He grabbed 2 of the instant ramen cups and took them over to a kettle on another table to make something for them to eat. As he is sorting out the food, Rathalia asks a question. How long was I asleep? How long has she been here? Naruto looked back at her through the corner of his eye. About 3 days. She needed to know. 3 days. She's been here that long. What about the other devils? What happened to the devils? Most of them are dead. We did capture a couple of them, but some kind of curse hit them. They won't wake up. Rathalia was surprised that these humans beat a small army of devils, mainly because she knew who one of them was. What about Rizvim Lucifer? He may have been the weakest of the 3 super devils. However, he was still an opponent that not just anyone can stand against and hope to defeat. Naruto could only guess at which devil she was referring to. Did he have long silver hair with a little beard under his chin? That devil was by far the strongest of the 700, it wasn't even close. Yes, that's him. So this guy saw him. Naruto was lucky to be alive. Naruto began scratching his chin. Well, we fought for a bit, and I may have destroyed one of his arms. Before another devil came and got him out of there while a dragon ambushed me. May have gone over a few minor details, but that was the gist of it. So to answer your question, they ran with the wings between their laps, chuckling at his own pun. He beat a super devil. Just what kind of humans are they? While Rathalia was trying to wrap her head around it, Naruto was thinking about the fight. That devil's name is Rizvim. How he was powerful. Naruto could compare him to Tobirama with the amount of energy he could sense off of him. While this Rizvim had more raw destructive power than Lord Second did, Tobirama would make up for it with his techniques and versatility. If either of them fought, it could go either way. It would be who landed the first blow that would decide the fight. But Naruto would put his faith in Lord Second emerging the victor. Rizvim came off more as a schemer than a fighter. If he had more knowledge and time to plan, that fight would have taken longer. Naruto would have still won with Sage Mode, but it would have been harder. Hold up, that name Lucifer was one of the names that the comatose devils gave them. So Lucifer is a clan name. Are the others in his clan as strong as him? Are they like the Snaju or Uchiha clans in terms of capabilities? How did you win? Rathalia had to know. Ever since I got here, I have felt something from you, and it feels similar to what I have. Have you ever heard of Kekra? No. So even she doesn't know, but she can feel it. Why can't the devils? Naruto held out his hand and created a basic Rasengan for her to see. Rathalia widened her eyes, pure shock at what she saw. This blue ball may be small, but it was powerful. But what truly shocked her was its application. He just did it. Many attacks far surpass this little ball, but they all require something to happen, a prerequisite. A chant, a magical circle, a sacred gear, writing and so on. It's rare to see abilities like this that can be just done instantly. Keku is the lifeblood of the shinobi world. It's the body's physical and spiritual energies infused together that then creates an even more powerful form of energy. Keku, there is more to it, but this basic crash course is enough for now. Rathalia caught on to something he said. Wait. Hold on, you said spiritual energies. Do you know Yujutsu? Yujutsu is a form of sorcery that only Yaku can use, using their spiritual energies for spellcraft or illusions. Hold on. She just said jutsu. No, I've never heard of Yujutsu before. Have you ever heard of ninjutsu, ninjutsu or taijutsu? No, but I have heard of senjutsu. You know about senjutsu? Yes, they both leaned back a bit, digesting what has just transpired right now. Okay, hold up a minute. Naruto went back to the kettle and finished making the instant ramen. Here, you must be hungry. Handing her one of the cups with a fork. Rathalia has been asleep for 3 days, using only a feeding tube, so she must be starving for a tasty meal or snack. Thank you, Mr. Naruto. Naruto stopped halfway from giving her the food. An embarrassed expression decorated his face. Please don't call me Mr., it makes me feel old. He's only 19 yet. No. Rathalia realized her blunder and blushed. Sorry. Naruto. Naruto breathed out a sigh of relief. That's better. He finished giving her the food. Naruto sat back down, both of them working up the drive to either talk or eat. After a few seconds, they both started to eat the food in awkward silence. While Naruto was happily munching down on his. Rathalia just took one bite. Her hand started to shake, tears built up in her eyes, and Naruto noticed. Rathalia, why are you? Does she hate ramen that much? She rubs her eyes, trying to mask her tears. Sorry, it's just that it's been a while since I've eaten proper food. Naruto just looked down from that, remembering how skinny she was. Well, after we have enjoyed our food, we should clear the air on everything that's going on. It's been one thing after another and Naruto really needs some clear answers. Sure, okay, then it's better that I start. Rathalia sorted herself out, getting ready to explain everything. I'm from a different world, Ukage. What happened in this world? There was a war. What was it Hashirama used to say? Always conflict, no matter what the year. Now, it's no matter what the world. Naruto truly loved Krema's ability to sense intent, because a lot of the things he has just heard about are hard to believe. Naruto also felt a headache coming on after learning all this. For the last 3 days, he was only worried about one faction, the devils, and what aims they have. Now we have angels and fallen angels to deal with alongside a fragile ceasefire that the shinobi world might be forced to get involved with because of this attack. It seems Rathalia's world has been through quite a lot. Apparently 3 factions have been butting heads between each other for one reason or another during what was known as the Great War. Rathalia admitted she doesn't know all the causes or implications of it. She only knows what she has heard. The devils wanted to conquer the world by wiping out all opposition. The fallen angels wanted revenge against heaven for being cast out and had no love for the devils. The angels of heaven wanted to maintain this biblical God's control and follow his will to the letter and destroy their evil brethren. 2 dimensions are existing alongside the earth. There are apparently more, but they are like places in whole realms. These are the 2 big ones. Oh, yeah, both their worlds are called Earth. What are the chances? These 2 dimensions are known as heaven and hell. Heaven is where the angels and their God live, apparently up in clouds with golden gates or something. While the devils and fallen angels live in the underworld and are sharing space with each other as well as dragons and other creatures. The Great War came to a halt, and a ceasefire agreement came into effect after the original leaders of the devils died and all 3 factions were brought to the brink of extinction. Then there was something about 2 dragons causing a mess. What's that about? But humans outnumber all of them combined. That's something to keep in mind. Honestly, Naruto is glad that there is a camera in here to record all this. He doubts he could remember all of it. The fragile piece my world has now only came into place after the Devil's Civil War. Rathalia explained how 2 sub-factions rose up within the Devil faction, the Old Satan faction and the Anti-Satan faction. The Old Satan faction wanted to continue the war, while the Anti-Satan faction rebelled against them to prevent the species' extinction. The Anti-Satan faction won, and the Old Satans along with their forces went into hiding. This new devil government have been attempting to pacify the devils, basically, make them more civilized or at least lose the whole conquer the world thing. But Naruto's thoughts on the 3 factions were varied. The angels seem to have strong morals at first glance. They indeed treat humans better when compared to the other 2. Still, they are so obsessed with rules and God's will that they abandon and cast out anyone who has an even slightly different opinion or did something they didn't like. It's like they forget that they are still living people with hopes, goals and dreams of their own, and don't even get him started on the whole labeling a person a witch crap. It irked him that they have gone against one of his most important beliefs. Those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their friends and comrades are even worse than scum. The fallen angels are all over the place. They seem to be both good and bad. Some just want peace to do their own thing, while others lose themselves to revenge and lash out against heaven for casting them out, or they're just planning psychos. They also seem to have a bone to pick with the devils. Naruto felt some sympathy for the fallen angels. Because they didn't follow God like a drone, they got kicked out and labeled traitors. If it happened because they went all murder happy, Naruto might be able to understand. But not because they fell for a human or because they were obsessed with a harmless hobby. Naruto would have fallen because of his ramen and training habits. He wasn't religious, but it didn't make him evil. The devils seem to follow a class system and bloodlines with these pillar clans and royalty. But they can be a mixed bag. Some devils could be okay in their own little way. In contrast, others could be elitist nuts that believe they're superior in every way because they are a pure-blood devil from some random clan. Big to other species of their own kind. The devils were the faction Naruto was most concerned about, and the devil's attack didn't help with that. It was this evil peace system they had. The devils lost so many of their kind, and more than half their clans were wiped out. Apparently, it's pretty hard for a devil to become pregnant. Guess that's the trade-off for having a long lifespan. So one of the leading Satans create this system based off a board game called chess. They use these pieces to turn people of other races into devils. And they become servants. Slaves. They can try and dress it up, but Naruto could read between the lines, bound to their household. You don't even need the person's permission to use it on them. You're forced to become a devil, so if you wanted to quit and go back to a healthy normal life or have your freedom again, well, tough luck. If you tried, you get labeled something called a stray devil and are hunted down and killed. You could make the argument that they are no different than missing Nin, but there are differences. You can withdraw from the village and go your own way. Tsuno said that after the Second Great Ninja War. Outside of wartime drafting, being a ninja has always been a choice, and you can retire from it by choice as well. A missing Nin is someone who abandoned the village and defected from the place of their birth, trying to sell the secrets of the village such as juts to others, among other things. But with this peerage system, you're stuck, and you can't leave, you can't quit, you have lost your freedom in a sense. And supposedly low-class devils are looked down upon by many who are from royal clans. Honestly, Naruto doesn't yet know how to handle these guys. He's got plenty to say to them, that's for sure. So what about your people of Rathalia? What about the Yeki? Naruto still has yet to learn about them. Well, we tried to stay out of the Great War. We didn't really participate, but some of the fighting did reach our borders, so some skirmishes did happen. Other factions on occasion got dragged into the conflict. The best way to describe us is a mix between humans and animals, though some Yeki can look nothing like a human. A bit like the Inuzuka clan, but taken to a whole new level then. Where do the Yeki stand in the great scheme of things? Do they want peace, or something else? Well, we stick to China and Japan, using a type of cloak spell to hit our civilization right alongside the humans in those countries. We just try to keep to ourselves. Naruto couldn't really blame them from everything he's been hearing. But I know our leader hopes for peace between the factions to one day happen. Naruto smiled at that. Finally someone with a good head on their shoulders. Really, so who leads the Yeki? The Yeki faction sounds like a good bet. Maybe meeting them is a good idea. Her name is Lady Yasaka, and she is a nine-tailed fox. Rathalia had great respect for her. She was always humble and polite, only wanting a peaceful world for her daughter to grow up in. But she didn't notice. Naruto frozen stiff. What did she just say? What did she just say? Rathalia, did you just say nine-tailed fox, like for real? It must be a bit unbelievable for you to hear someone with multiple tails. No doubts Naruto would be skeptical about a lot of things she said. Naruto asked her if she is the only one. Could the world also have Bijou? Are there any others like her? She has a daughter. Then she is not a Bijou. The tailed beasts are entities of ludicrous amounts of kekar that gain physical form and a personality because of the Sage of Six Paths. They can't reproduce, nor do they have any desire for it. Now Naruto definitely wants to go to the world and meet these Yeki, this Yasaka. Okay, one last question. You don't have to answer this one, Rathalia, but I still got to ask, how did you end up with them? Naruto knew he shouldn't be asking this, to ask her to remember her suffering. Rathalia shifted at that question. She could tell that at the very least Naruto is trying to help. But having to talk about what happened. Can I only tell you a little bit about it? There are just some things she doesn't want to talk about. Of course, you're in control here. Thank you. Naruto now didn't feel so bad about what he did to that devil Rizvim. Not only was he a part of the old Satan faction that houses the worst of the worst when it came to devils, but what he did to Raphtalia's home. He and several of his men attacked her small village called Loralina. She doesn't know if it survived or what happened to her family. But what she did know is that Rizvim personally took her. For nearly a year she was his pet, but for the reasons on why he took her, it's still unknown to Raphtalia. He didn't kill her. Because he's a part of the old Satan faction, he rejects the evil peace system out of the whole devil pure blood superiority crap. And the medical examination proved that he didn't do any of those things to her. So why? What made Raphtalia so different from the rest of the Eker in her village? When Naruto sees him again, he will ask, after taking his other arm. I'm so sorry for everything that's happened to you. Raphtalia didn't answer, and Naruto didn't mind. There's not much you can say or do about it right now. Well, why don't I tell you about my world now? Naruto flashed a cheerful grin to try and change the subject. It's only fair, right? Sure. Raphtalia had many questions of her own. It has been one hell of a day for explanations. That's all Naruto could really think of right now. But he knows one thing. His head hurts. Well, Raphtalia, it's been a day and a half, and thanks for telling me about all of, well, everything, so I'll give you some peace for the rest of the today. Naruto stood up from his chair. Call me. His legs fell asleep. Oh, you can have the last ramen cup. You know how to use a kettle. For the very first time, Naruto saw Raphtalia giggle, a genuine smile on her face, not one to hide away her sadness. Yes, I know how to use a kettle. She's trying to keep her giggles from turning into laughter. Heya, well, I'll see you tomorrow, but if you want to talk again a bit earlier, just ask for Naruto Uzumaki. He then let out a Kokijin with one eye closed, giving her a thumbs up, and he will come around me. Thank you, Naruto. Naruto kept his eyes closed, kept his smile. After a couple of seconds of holding the smile, he turned around and left, giving Raphtalia the room to herself. She laid back down on the pillow, thinking about everything she was told. A new world where humans are dominant and are some kind of ninja, a world that had 4 world wars but found peace at the end. This world was so different but was a little bit similar. And yet, maybe she can trust him. Maybe she can trust this Naruto. After leaving the hospital, Naruto decided to visit Hinata Uchiha Manor. He feels like he has been a bit distant for the last 3 days and needs to make up for that. Right now, both of them are sharing some tea in the Uchiha clan's garden, under the beautiful starlights, the moon reflecting off the small pond. This is nice, just some quality time for them alone. After everything that's been going on, they needed this. Sorry for being distant, Hinata. It's fine, I understand, and besides I'm also at fault. I have been so busy with Lord Kakashi, trying to help with understanding that altar we found. The only other thing that has stood out through all of this. I've also heard you have been training too, trying to improve your use of that new chakra. During the moon incident, Hinata was able to meet Hamura, the Sage of Sixth Path's younger brother. He gifted her his chakra and her power reached whole new levels. Her chakra's color changed from blue to dark purple. Like how Naruto could use golden chakra if he wants because of his new Sixth Path's power. But that was only the start for her. She hasn't told him what it is, but Naruto thinks Hinata discovered something, some new power she can reach. Whatever it might be, Naruto could not wait to see it, to see his girlfriend surpass her limits. I don't want to spoil it, but I feel it deep down, a new threshold for me to reach. Hinata has always dreamed of standing side by side with Naruto, and this power might be the key to reaching her envisioned self. Well, I'll be waiting for the surprise. I'll be back in a sec, nature calls. He quickly walked away to relieve himself. Come on, sister. What are you doing? You have such a good chance here. Hinata could only pull an annoyed expression, realizing who has been spying on them. Hanabi, what have I told you about spying on others? It's fun to see how my older sister's love life is going. Hinata let out a disappointed sigh. So before he comes back, I've come to help with your game plan. Hinata quickly turned her head away, with a dust of pink on her cheeks. I don't know what you're talking about. Yay, I'm sure you don't. Hanabi kept her cocky smirk. Anyway, it is what you need to do. Hanabi quickly shortened the distance between her and the sister. You need to stop doing this whole little space between one another thing. Lean on each other. Make it so that physical contact is so normal between you two. Hanabi then quickly narrowed her eyes with a smug expression. Then you could take it even further. You could, Hanabi. That's no way for a child to talk. Hinata tries to stop her sister from going even further while also trying to prevent herself from going red. Only to realize that Hanabi is gone. Where did she go? Hinata heard footsteps from behind her. Hinata, what's going on? Why were you shouting? Naruto was confused. Why was Hinata raising her voice and why is she so red? Oh, nothing, just talking to my sister, who just left, that's all. Hinata awkwardly laughed it off, hoping to change the subject. Naruto just shrugged it off and sat back down next to Hinata. Against her better judgment, Hinata decided to heed some of Hanabi's advice and sat right up next to him, her head resting on his shoulder. You called Hinata? No, I just thought that I could have this, said a blushing Hinata. Even after becoming his girlfriend, she still hasn't lost a bit of her shyness. Naruto's face went a bit red too after hearing her, but kept his mouth shut. And he gently laid his head on hers. Her hair felt so soft. He could easily fall asleep here. He did fall asleep here. When she noticed Hinata could only smile at him, it was a sweet smile. Hinata leaned down and kissed him on the cheek. Maybe some more contact would be nice, would be good for them. At their own pace, of course. Deep underground, beneath a secret spot outside the hidden leaf, stood the last piece of the puzzle from the devil's attack. During the rescue of a certain raccoon girl, Hinata spotted a strange-looking altar. It was the only thing they could find at the devil's camp that was worth mentioning. Two oval-shaped stones, 3 times the size of the tallest human, were floating off of the ground, slowly rotating as the color of each stone changed from white to black. A science team transported them to this hidden bunker to ascertain what they're used for. After brainstorming and trial testing, they discovered something. A signal. Faint, but it was there. These stones are beacons. The one on the left is sending out a signal to an unknown location, while the other is receiving one. Both signals are coming from different sources, but are identical. Was it these stones that transported them here? A man with spiky silver hair who looked to be around his early 30s asked. Kakashi Hatake. One of the most famous ninjas from the Hidden Leaf, who was appointed as the 6th Hokage after Tsunade stepped down. We believe so, Lord 6th. We also believe it's a type of transportation jutsu. Several members of the Science Corps have been working around the clock to understand how these artifacts work. Kakashi kept his red eyes, with strange pinwheel patterns fixed on the stones almost as if he expects someone or something to pop out. The Eternal Menki Sharingan. During the Second Great Ninja War, Kakashi lost one of his eyes. But a dying friend gave him his Sharingan before he was crushed. That friend, Obito, survived. They fought during the 4th and final Ninja War. They started as enemies, only to become friends once again. Before his death, due to suffering an injury at the hands of a near-invincible goddess, he used Kamui to come back from the afterworld to give Kakashi both of his Sharingan. But before he returned to the afterworld, Obito decided to leave the Sharingan with him. Look after them for me. It may be only for a few more years, but you never know if you're gonna need them. The final words from his old friend before he disappeared. For good this time, and with what is or might happen now, is glad Obito entrusted them to him. How so? What type of transportation jutsu? The left one sends out a signal while the right receives a signal. Kakashi caught on. The signals themselves are what transported them, while the stones serve as a destination almost like a train journey. The stones are the stations, the signals are the trains. Can we block them? If we can stop the signals, then they can't come back. Not yet, and even as we did, they still got it somehow. Then they set up the beacons. Or they sent the beacons here on their own, then followed via the signal. But we can do one better. HMMMM. We can use the signal ourselves and go to the world. Go to the world. Is that a good idea? No, it's not the best choice, but it's the only choice they have. There's no reason to believe that this will stop and that devil might come back for revenge. How would we use it? By sealing ourselves into the stones. ... Let me explain. The signal travels from one stone to another, and the signal only goes one way. We use a momentum seal jutsu. Seal ourselves into the stone. The seal will then travel along the signal to the end destination. Once at the end and the momentum of the seal has stopped for a couple of seconds, it then unseals us on the other side. And when we want to come back home, we use the same sealing formula on the stone from their end to make the journey back. What's your name again? Ksuki Revera, Lord 6th. You're getting a raise. I am. Tomorrow will be a big day for the Shinobi world. But first, he needs to contact the Shinobi Union. Kakashi walked out of the containment area of the two stones through a massive armored gate with several ceiling shuts inscribed on it. He walked past several Anu Black Ops shinobi as the gate closed behind him. These shinobi are considered to be among the best of the best. The Hokage handpicks them out of the many divisions of Konoha's military. They have been tasked with guarding and dealing with anything that comes out of those stones. Kakashi then entered a communications room, with two guards flanking the door. A single chair was in the middle of the room, with the symbol for Hokage inscribed on the wall behind it. In front of the chair are 4 TVs, each one had the image of a person. A young man with spiky red hair, an old man with a peculiar-looking nose, a beautiful woman with long brown hair and a muscular blonde man with a serious expression. The 5th Kezkage Gaara, a stoic and caring young man who is a former Jinchuriki and is one of Naruto's closest friends. The suffering that once caused him to have a black heart now holds just as much compassion as Naruto's does. He is an unequal user of Sanjutsu and said to have an ultimate defense. The 3rd Tsuchika Jinoki, one who has been around since the time of Madara and Hashirama, an inspirational leader and is the only current user of the powerful Kekkei Dust release. The 5th Mizukage Maitrumi, she is a cheerful, polite young woman if not a bit flirtatious that prefers to avoid conflict. She can use the 2 Kekkei Lava release and Boil release as she has over 4 Kepker natures. The 4th Raikage, the elder brother of the second last Jinchuriki, is stern and decisive, who prefers to take action when others won't. He uses lighting style to augment his speed to become one of the fastest shinobi ever. With only the likes Minato Namikaze, Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha surpassing him in speed. Kakashi sat down to speak to the other 4 members of the leadership of the Shinobi Union about his plan. The Shinobi Union was established after the 4th Great Ninja War to continue the alliance of both the hidden villages and by extension the elemental nations. Fellow Kage, I have an update on the stones we brought back to the Hidden Leaf. Kakashi goes on to explain what they have learned about these stones. Then he tells them his plan. We have discovered a way to use the stones ourselves. I propose that we send a small 4-man team to the world in order to gather intel of these factions in this new world, as well as find out where they stand with us, be it friend or foe. The first to respond was Ailey's Devils committed an unprovoked attack. It's safe to say that their intentions are clear. Besides, there's the possibility that these devils are gathering up a larger force to attack again. We should be preparing. Mike disagreed with him, but if what Lord Hokage has learned is true and it's this old Satan faction that committed these actions, then this attack was the act of a terrorist group, not the current devil government. They could very well come into conflict with those that had nothing to do with the attack on Konoha. Gaara agreed with the Mizukage's augment. If that is the case, then diplomacy is possible. Our land and our people have fought through enough wars. In this era of peace, our ability to maintain it will always be tested. We must be steadfast in our duty to protect what we have struggled to build for so long. As the current Kage, this must be at the forefront of our minds. If peace talks are possible, then they must strive for it no matter what. A war between the two worlds could be catastrophic for all involved. The Raikage grumble a bit at both Gaara and Mai. He can understand their points. At the same time, they should not blindly believe peace is possible with people they don't know anything about, when all they have done is attack them. It's as this time that Inoki, who was being very quiet through this talk, now decides to voice his opinion. Everything said here has merit. We cannot let these unknown faction and species walk over us in any way. I agree with the Raikage that we must be ready should these devils, or anyone else for that matter, attack us again. I nodded his head at Inoki in agreement. At the same time, Gaara and Mai frowned, concerned if Inoki and they would suggest a significant military response. However, if peace is possible, then that must be our goal. Kakashi let out a sigh of relief. Gaara and Mai grew a small smile. Then what is it you're suggesting, Tsuchikage? The Raikage wanted to know what Inoki believes they should do. We are in the dark about who and what these people are. We cannot strive for diplomacy if we do not understand them or their intentions. Which is why I agree with the Hokage's plan to send a small team to the world. He understands that it's not just the devils they need to learn about. Inoki then goes into further detail. This team's mission should be intelligence gathering on these factions and their intentions, goals, culture and military strength, and if possible, making allies or establishing contacts with the right individuals should be pursued as well. Inoki then addressed A, who was still waiting for his side of the augment to be resolved. While this team is gathering the knowledge we need, we can prepare for both a diplomatic and military response should either come to pass. We have one advantage. It's clear that even if we know very little, we know more about them than they do about us. The Raikage stared at Inoki for what seemed like a lifetime before he too nodded his head at Inoki's proposition. Hawkage, who would you suggest we send? A bit of an early morning for Naruto. Apparently Kakashi-sensei wants to see him right away. He feels it in his stomach. Something is going to happen today. He just knows it. As he walks up the stairs to the Hawkage office, he bumps into a couple of people. Huh, Sasuke, Hinata, what are you two doing here? Sasuke was going to leave today, and he and Hinata were going to see Raphaelita later to get out of that hospital bed and see some sights. Kakashi asks for all three of us. We've just been waiting for you. Right, sorry Sasuke, I just stopped at each Eric for a bit. I didn't know that anybody else would be coming. Okay. It's okay Naruto-kun, no one thinks badly of you for eating. Hinata always seems to have that sweet smile. Naruto gives Hinata a bear hug, crying enemy tears. Thanks Hinata, you're always so understanding. You can come in now. Kakashi calls out to them from his office. Go to the world. Naruto called it. Something big was going to happen today. Kakashi nods his head. He's already talked to the other Kage about this. Naruto, your team captain, I need you to take 3 people of your choice to the world. Learn everything you can about these 3 factions and ascertain if they're potential allies or threats. Why me? Sasuke has the Rinnegan for transportation, wouldn't he be a better choice? You have always had a way with people. So you would be best to figure out which factions we should be wary of. Including earning the trust of ones we don't. Kakashi would prefer they didn't get any more enemies, but allies instead. Besides, you are the only one who saw the 2 devils that escaped and fought that dragon. You have the best experience. Kakashi then turned to Sasuke. Sasuke will remain here. With Naruto out of the village, it will be best if you stay in case the devils make a second attempt. The devils won't underestimate them next time. They will bring more numbers, stronger ones too. Yes, Kakashi. With Naruto gone, then the only one who can truly defend the village is him. Hinata, you're on the mission too. Your Byakugan is excellent for scouting and discovering any more types of energies they have. This angelic or holy energy and any other form of magical power we have yet to hear about. Yes, Lord Kakashi, I'll do my best. They are counting on them to make this mission work. We don't have many people available, so Naruto, you are your next 2 choices. Who to bring? It would be someone they trust and know how to work together. People who would be beneficial to the mission. My choices are Raphaelita and Konohamaru. Rasengan. The young boy at the age of around 16 was busy training in the forests near Konoha. He slammed his attack into the ground. Several trees were cleared from the training area as a crater formed in the field. Konohamaru has been training non-stop to improve his use of the Rasengan. Damn it. I still can't do it without a clone. It's so frustrating. He feels like he's on the verge of mastering it. I'm not done, I'm too close. Speaking between breaths. His determination won't waver. Hold up, or you might keel over now. Wait, that voice. Big brother Naruto. What's up? Rising up to his feet to meet his sensei. Have you come to help me with training? Great, I need some advice on me. Sorry, not today. If I'm here for another reason. I've got a mission, and I want you on it. That god Konohamaru existed. Yes. Finally, another chance to prove himself. So what's the mission? It's S-rank and Konohamaru. If you accept, you can't back out, doing it to the end. You sure you want to know? Naruto would always give his student the choice. Konohamaru calmed down and got serious. S-rank is a big deal, but he won't back down. I'm in. What's the mission, sensei? Naruto closed his eyes and gave him a massive smile. We're going to a whole new world. That's so cool. Naruto knew he would accept. Now time to get his last member. Raphaelita was given a clean bill of health from Lady Tsunade, and she was even given some new clothes for her to wear, had a hole in the back for her tail as well. But what does it even matter at this point? She wasn't home, she was in a land she still didn't fully understand. What is she supposed to do? The door to the room slid open. Hey Raphaelita, heard you got the all clear. Naruto just came walking in like he's in a rush. Oh hi, Naruto, and he wasn't alone. Who are these two? Naruto stood to the side to show who is with him. Raphaelita, meet Hinata and Konohamaru. What's up? It's very nice to meet you. Both said their introductions. They seemed like nice people. It's nice to meet both of you. As Naruto said, my name's Raphaelita. Raphaelita remembered that Naruto said he and some friends would take her out and show her around the village. Are you going to show me around your home, Naruto? Naruto just rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. We might need to put a rain check on that because something's come up. It has. Is it serious? Raphaelita, we are going on a mission, and we want you to come with us. Raphaelita was about to say something, but Naruto cut her off. It's about your world. This shocked her. What about my world? Naruto walked up to her. We have found a way to go there and back, but we could use your help. My help? The mission is about gathering anything and everything about these other factions. We need to know what we're dealing with. Rathalia told them a lot. However, it's still not enough. Besides, Naruto needs to see these people for himself, to judge them as individuals. The first faction we want to meet is the Yaki, but not just to meet them but also to get you back home. Rathalia knows which nation they're in. They need her help to find them, let alone get an introduction. Rathalia was surprised that they would try and get her home so quickly. They only talked yesterday. So what do you say, Rathalia? You in? Naruto asked with a smile on his face. A part of Rathalia wanted to say yes, but another part was still unsure. Could she trust them? Trust him? Rathalia. Yes. He held out his fist. Will you trust me? She knew over those words trust. Outside of her home, she has never met anyone, not till the devils attacked. After that ordeal, she then meets humans face to face for the first time. Well, humans from a new world. Could she trust them? They rescued her from the devils. They healed her. They gave her proper food, a warm bed. They even respected her privacy when it came to questions. Then there was our talk with Naruto. It was like she was hanging off everything he said, no signs or acts of deception. He told her many things about his world and even himself. Very personal things. They only just met, but he did it anyway. She asked herself before, could she trust him? She had her answer. She smiled and bumped fists with him. I'll trust you, Naruto. She next looks over to the others. You too, Hinata. Konohamaru. They nodded at her, putting their trust in her too. So Rathalia, do you know how to fight? They might bump into opposition before getting her to this place called Kyoto. I'm good with a sword and illusion-based magic. That can work. Let's get her some proper gear. Naruto was taking deep breaths to help ease himself. Who knows what it's going to be like once they go through or who they will meet. Naruto and his new team were all equipped with everything they would need. Provisions, kanji, shuriken, paper bombs, sealing scrolls, you name it. As for Rathalia, she's wearing the standard hidden leaf shinobi uniform with a green flat jacket. On her belt rests an injured blade. When they showed the swords available for her to use, they were all surprised when her spiritual energy could be used on the ninja just like Kekka could. Well, their powers were similar, so I guess it would make sense in some way. You ready to go, Naruto? Kakashi was here to send them off, so was Sasuke. We're in, don't worry about us. We'll represent the shinobi world like true shinobi. I know, just remember to keep that in mind as you conduct yourselves. Naruto turned around to his team. You guys ready? They all nodded their heads. They're as ready as they're going to get. They walked over to the left stone, the one that's sending the signal. Naruto prepares a seal that they showed and taught him. We'll report back. It's either going to be 2 weeks or a month. Good luck, all of you. Naruto wigged several hand signs. Dual trigrams, momentum seal. It was so dark, Scratch said it was pitch black. You guys there? Naruto could still sense them. I'm here, Konohamaru, check. Me too, Rathalia, check. Hinata, where are you? Naruto began reaching out his hand to find her. Squeeze. Well, Naruto, I'm here, but can you come? Naruto could feel something in his. Oh no. Sorry, Hinata. He quickly pulled his hand back. No one saw, so it didn't count. Where are we? Ouch. Konohamaru tried to stand up but banged his head off something. Hinata could use your help. Really, right. He could feel Hinata's face going red, somehow. Again. What do you see? We're underground. We're buried under rock and stone. Great, okay, give me a sec. Using the Rasengan, Naruto blasted the way out for them, quickly clearing the way for the others to follow. He launched out the ground into the air to finally see where they are. The sky was purple. Isn't the underworld sky purple? Guess we know where we are. As he descended back down, he could see the ruins of a castle. It seems that it used to be a castle or a fortress. But the damage looks recent. Maybe it was only a couple of days ago that things went down. The others joined him above ground, and they all started to take in their surroundings. Naruto quickly got out a scroll to seal the 2 stones away. They are taking them with them. When they're ready to go home, it's just a matter of unsealing them in a safe location. As everyone got their bearings, Rathalia realized where they are. This is Rise from Lucifer Castle. Or what remains of it. She spent nearly the last whole year here. Were they attacked? Or, maybe he threw a tantrum and buried everything. We'll figure it out later. First off, Rathalia. This is the underworld, right? Rathalia nodded her head. She could never forget the color here. So they need to get to Kyoto, which is in the human world, not the underworld. So they just need to find out some way to escape the underworld. So anyone got any ideas on how to get out of here? Chapter 2. Revelations and a Mission.